Hi everyone, I'm Emma, author of Milk, and if you'd like to find out more about that book, then please look in the description below to find out some more. Obviously all my social media stuff is there too, so please follow me, come and say hi. And in today's video, hi everybody, I'm Emma, author of upcoming book Milk. Information is in the description, along with all my social media stuff. Please come and say hi and follow me on there. And this is Emma Rose in Books. So today I want to talk to you about something which is, in my mind, linked to books, and that's podcasts. I listen to 1 or 2 audiobooks a month, but when I'm not listening to audiobooks, I listen to podcasts. Because I listen to this kind of thing when I'm at the gym, taking the kids to school, driving somewhere. I do get through quite a lot, so I really do enjoy podcasts, and I do subscribe to, I think, one bookish, well, it's author related podcast, but I would really love it actually if you know any good book related podcasts, please leave them below because I would love to discover more. But I thought I'd run through the ones that I do subscribe to because I really like them. I'm sure lots of you do, and yeah, let's share some of the ones that we listen to, because as I say, you know, to me it's kind of linked. It's a storytelling, right? So I subscribe to 10. I'm just going to do them in the order that they are on. I use Podcast Addict, so I'm just going to go through the order that they are. So the first one is Desert Island Discs. I like listening to Desert Island Discs occasionally on Radio 4. Anyone who doesn't know what it is, basically celebrities go on, they're interviewed by a lady called Kirsty Young, and they have to pick out 8 albums that they would take with them to a desert island, and they talk about their life and they link that in with the music, and it's so interesting. I find it quite often very beautiful, and I like listening to ones where I've not heard of the person they're interviewing because I feel that I learn an awful lot. For instance, there was one that I really loved that was the guy who owns the key cutting place Timpson's. And you'd never think that it would be that interesting, but it was fascinating. So they interview all kinds of people, and I just, because of the way that music is used in it, I find it really fascinating, really beautiful. So I like that one. And they're like half an hour long, so they're just, you know, really digestible. The next one I subscribe to is one called Sprogcast. Sprogcast is aimed at birth professionals, health visitors, midwives, you know, anybody in the birth world. I've been listening to it pretty much since it started because obviously I'm writing about something that's kind of early parenting related, so I find it fascinating. I've learnt loads through it. It's monthly. It's presented by a lady called Karen Hall, who is involved with the NCT, and a man called Mark Harris, who's a male midwife. They're both very interesting people just by and of themselves, but they also interview incredible people. They talk about brilliant stuff. So if you're interested in kind of birth, early parenting, any of that stuff, then I'd thoroughly recommend Sprogcast. It's great. The next one on my list is Richard Herring's Leicester Square Theatre podcast. Now, I am ever so slightly too young to really remember Lee and Herring. I very vaguely do. They're a comedy duo. I really have discovered them later, though. I didn't even really, I don't really remember This Morning with Richard Not Judy. Occasionally, I've seen bits of it and I'm like, maybe I saw it. I didn't really know about As It Occurs to Me. That passed me by. So, but I discovered Richard Herring's Leicester Square Theatre podcast, and it's very funny. It's pretty rude a lot of the time. Basically, he interviews somebody, he interviews a comedian. It's very funny. It's very silly. There's a lot of in-jokes, as I say, pretty rude. I like him as a comedian. I've seen him live, and yeah, it's funny. And what can I say? The next one is Russell Brand. Now, Russell Brand is currently not producing his podcast. This is the one from XFM, Radio X, sorry, it's not XFM anymore. This may be controversial because a lot of people don't like Russell Brand, and I totally understand why. I used to listen to Russell Brand when he was on radio, forever ago, when he was on XFM and then when he was on Radio 2. I've listened to the podcasts, not really the live show, for years and years and years. I like him with Matt Morgan, and I just, those two together I find very, very funny. I particularly like the really old stuff, and the new shows are very reminiscent of that because they've got Matt Morgan on again. for me, it's the interaction between those two that make it, you know, as I say, I do understand why people don't find Russell Brand funny. I do, under those circumstances. I don't even know why I have to justify this. I think it's funny. I know that he's not making them at the moment. It's been a little while since he put one out, but all the past ones are there, and I think they're talking about bringing out another podcast soon. The next one I listen to is The Scummy Mummies. This is one that I kind of dip in and out of because I have this strange personality whereby if I watch something, I want to have watched all of it. So the fact that I didn't listen to Scummy Mummies from the beginning and they've got a massive back catalogue bothers me. I want to have listened to all of them. I really like them though. I think that they have a very honest, no nonsense and silly approach to parenting, and it's all about the fact that none of us are perfect. I think that's a great message. So yeah, I enjoy that one, but as I say, because I'm just a strange person, I sometimes find it hard because I want to start at the beginning, but that's like years ago. The next one, a bookish one, Kristen Martin, That Smart Hustle. She talks about being an author, and I find her very interesting. I've learned a lot about the law of attraction from her, which is, you know, something new that I'm learning about. And I like the fact that her podcasts are very short. They're never more than 20 minutes often. They're only sort of 10 minutes. So that's really great for just a quick bite size. Oh, I'm quickly going and walking the dog, listening to something. So yeah, I really enjoy her podcasts. They're very good. Next is the Adam Buxton podcast, which is on a break at the moment. Adam Buxton, is a comedian that I have watched since the beginning. When I was a teenager and he had the Adam and Joe show, I used to watch him when I was babysitting. It was really late on a Friday night on Channel 4 and I'd be babysitting, you know, parents still out, and I'd hope they'd get back late because I wanted to catch it. I loved the Adam and Joe show. I then listened to the Adam and Joe show podcasts the whole time they were on. Now that Joe Cornish is being a film director, it's just Adam Buxton. That's fine. I think Adam is very, very funny. He, again, interviews largely comedians. There's a lot of in-jokes. Again, I find him very funny. I love his sense of humour. I've seen him do one of his bug shows at the, what's it called, the London film, British film thing in London. I can't think what it's called. Yeah, similar kind of thing to the Richard Herring Leicester Square Theatre podcast, RHLSTP, as it should be called. Yeah, it's good. I like it. It's funny. Next, Chris Moyles, another controversial one. I've only just resubscribed to this. I am one of those people that listen to Chris Moyles on The Breakfast Show for years, driving to work. I go through phases where I find him irritating and I unsubscribe, and then I go through phases where I really love his show, I find it funny, and I find it quite nostalgic. So yeah, I don't know why I need to justify myself. I find it funny. It reminds me of listening to him on The Breakfast Show. That's it. The Infinite Monkey Cage, I absolutely love. This is Brian Cox, the physicist, and Robin Ince, the comedian, talking about science, and I've learned tons from it, and it's very funny as well. And I went and saw Robin and Brian's Christmas Compendium or something like that it's called in London, and it is amazing because you get comedians, scientists, like musicians. When I went to see it, they had you know, top scientists. I can't even think who off the top of my head. I think Andrea Sella was there, and Brian Cox, and the lady who's involved in the Cassini missions, I can't remember her name. And then they had comedians, like I think they had Josie Long, they had Eric Idle, and then they had The Cure. And it was just very strange, but brilliant. Like, you walk away kind of going, wow, and it's really long as well. Amazing. Anyway, that's kind of an aside, but the podcast is equally brilliant because they have a range of different people discussing something, and it's funny and it's educational, so I love it. I love a bit of science. And the last one on my list is the Minimalist podcast, which is one I've not that long started listening to. I've got really into minimalism in the last year, you know, to do with kind of the psychological concept, really. I still have quite a lot of stuff. I have less stuff than I had, but I'm very interested on the state of mind of it, the psychology of it. And the trouble with the Minimalist podcast is sometimes they're really long. So the ones that are 2 hours plus, I tend not to listen to them. but sometimes I do, it depends on what the topic is, but I find their podcasts very soothing. I feel like they sort my head out a bit in terms of the way I look at things, and sometimes make me readdress the way that I see the world. So I really enjoy that. Their podcasts are great, and their documentary about minimalism is brilliant as well. So yeah, those are 10 that I enjoy. As I say, leave me some recommendations. You can see the kind of thing that I'm into. Yeah, leave me a comment, tell me more. And please subscribe for more. I usually post bookish and author content twice a week. I'll see you all soon. Bye!